Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NXT May 4th, 2021 review. This was actually a really good show, a lot better than last week's show. Last week's show was god-awful and terrible. At this time, you guys know what to do. If you're brand new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet and you've been following along to the videos I've uploaded, don't be shy. Go ahead and subscribe now. I upload videos every single week, guaranteed for your pleasure, man. I'm here to entertain and do what I do best, and that is go over wrestling news. Well, not wrestling news, but wrestling events that take place and give you guys my best feelings on that and how the show went. Personally, the show was an excellent show. The main event for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles was a lot of fun to watch. Granted, it is a repeat of the same match that took place at TakeOver, this past TakeOver that took place during the WrestleMania weekend. I will admit that is a bit of a fucked up thing to do, and even worse, they made the tag team champions lose the tag titles when they could have lost them at TakeOver originally. But you could look at this as a positive as well. I mean, in real sports, there are times where a champion or rivals will go at it, and sometimes it will be a 50-50 thing. And then they'll have a third match to round out the rubber match to determine who actually is the best of the best in that rivalry. So, in my personal opinion, this would be a good match to set up for the next TakeOver in a ladder match. At this point, between now and the ladder match, you might as well take the time to have Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon work their way back up to legitimately get a rematch for the tag team titles at the next TakeOver. I'm pretty sure we have a couple of weeks left before we have the next TakeOver. I'm pretty sure the next TakeOver is going to take place in June or July, somewhere around that time. So, I mean, you guys, they have plenty of time to work on and get this established where they won't seem like they're just handing over a rematch to the former tag team champions. So that's my attitude on that. So it's not a bad thing that what they did here tonight. Fucking Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell winning the tag team titles in the fashion that they did, I'm okay with it. But, again, we constantly harp on rematch after rematch or after rematch. So, I mean, I can understand there's some people out there that might feel there's a problem with this, but really it's not, because they didn't do it week after week. They stretched it out at least. Personally, after the third match, if they even make that take place, which I hope they do, a ladder match between these two teams would be a load of fun to watch. And if you really want to stretch it out to a tables, ladders, and chairs match, since they were using tables, chairs, and ladders in this situation, I don't have a problem with that either. But at the end of the day, the real end-all be-all is them climbing up a ladder trying to achieve that gold, to say, hey, metaphorically speaking, to say, hey, I climbed the mountain and I have achieved greatness. So that could be the metaphorical way of looking at it between these two teams. And I think that would be a great idea for them to do based on what's going on here. They're two really good teams. The only problem I have with it is they're not legit tag teams. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, I mean, you could say because they're in the same faction, but they don't have to be a tag team just because they're in the same faction. Do they work well together? In this match tonight, I was entertained. I found it very valuable what Indy Hartwell did and what Candice LeRae did. So I got to give kudos to these two women. I didn't like their first match with Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart at that TakeOver event during WrestleMania weekend. So if you don't remember, you can go back. I didn't give a high praise to that match. I didn't particularly care for it. But this, being the way it was highly entertaining, and I enjoyed it. Isaiah Swerve Scott won his match against Leon Ruff. I mean, if you didn't see that one coming, you're a fucking idiot. Leon Ruff was not going to win that match, but he did win with a little bit of help. AJ Francis actually shows up out of nowhere. I don't know who the fuck he really is. This match was, whatever. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm glad Isaiah Scott got the win. I'd hate to think Isaiah Swerve Scott would lose to fucking Leon Ruff, for God's sakes. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, Leon Ruff has been a tad better than what he's been in the past. I think he needs to go to the Cruiserweight division, 205 Live. Go over there. You belong over there. You fit well with that. Just go there. He definitely looks like a Cruiserweight anyway. He doesn't need to be competing against a guy like Isaiah Swerve Scott. Scott does not need to be in the Cruiserweight division anymore. That boy is fucking big. I personally don't think he belongs there. He belongs in the NXT roster, competing over the North American Championship or the World Heavyweight title or something like that. So the next thing on the next segment on this show was Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory attempt to interrupt a meeting held by William Regal, but are promptly pushed off to the side because Regal is actually meeting with Scarlett Bordeaux and doesn't want to be interrupted. Theory likes her big, and he kept referencing, I thought, to her tits, but it was like a joke in a way. And he referenced towards her fingernails, which I don't know why the fuck he would care about her fingernails. And we go back to the... we actually go back to the ring for an actual match. We have Asher Hall versus Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes wins this match in less than a few minutes and walks away the winner. After he wins his match, later on in the show, he announces he's going to the club VIP and going alone without Everrise. Not that I blame him. I think Everrise absolutely sucks. Next segment after the Cameron Grimes match, we had Frankie Monet mocking Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. Carter tries to go after her, and Catanzaro holds her back, and we go to a commercial break at that point. I'm sick of Frankie Monet. She hasn't had a fucking match. Every person from Impact Wrestling that's come to this NXT roster has wrestled except for her. What is the holdup? That's my big question. Why haven't we at least seen her compete against a jobber or something? Anything. We don't even see that. We're just seeing her making backstage segments with stupid comments and bullshit. I do not understand. How are they going to get this woman over in our eyes without establishing her in-ring ability with us as the fans? I don't get it. I really don't, guys. This is the dumbest creative decision they could do. They are fucking up Taya Valkyrie horribly. Really bad. The next match, which was a real good match, the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Folks, this should have been... The Grizzled Young Veterans should have won that fucking tag team titles at TakeOver last month. Really, to be honest with you guys, they should have won. MSK should have took the loss. And we should be seeing Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher competing over the tag team titles with Grizzled Young Veterans. Because this fucking match was fantastic. Awesome technician wrestling that took place. A lot of it, thankfully, by Timothy Thatcher. James Drake and Zach Gibson were really good in the ring with Timothy Thatcher. They gelled very well with them. Was it the most entertaining professional wrestling by Timothy Thatcher? No, but it was methodical, and it was a very good wrestling match. Not everything has to be sports entertainment. It can have some credibility when you have in-ring technician wrestling, and Timothy Thatcher brings that to the table. Is he charismatic? Absolutely not. He is not. He's a very bland, boring person. He does have a ceiling, I will admit that, but the man can perform in the ring, and that's what's very important, especially in tag team wrestling. Does he do well in tag team wrestling? I think so. I think he's really good. Tommaso Ciampa? Fuck, man, he was with freaking Johnny Gargano for a few years. Of course he's good. He knows what tag team wrestling is all about, so hell yeah, he knows what he's doing. The one thing I will criticize this match, and it wasn't even wrestling itself, it was the fact that Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher were dressed the same. They are not the same people. Let them be themselves. Tommaso Ciampa looked like he was trying to look exactly like Timothy Thatcher. Why? We don't need to see Ciampa as the same as Thatcher. They don't have to dress the same. Just get in a ring and kick some ass. That's all they got to do. Otherwise, this was what you would call a really good tag team match. Bottom line, this was a catch cam tag team wrestling match that a lot of people should have enjoyed. If you didn't enjoy this, you don't know fucking tag team wrestling. This was a fucking good match. The ending was a little, somewhat of a bad way to end it, I guess. Thatcher hits Gibson with Barrett's shoe and puts the arm breaker on him, and Gibson taps out. So I thought that was a little bit kind of a downturn towards the match for the ending. I thought that was a little weak. But regardless of all that, the rest of the match overall, for the amount of time they gave it, was fucking fantastic. This would have been something really good for a fucking takeover event. This was a really good tag team match. Gargano and Theory are backstage again and try and fail again to get a meeting in Regal's office, but he's not even in the office. Yeah, they got Austin Theory looking like a complete dummy, jackass, ass clown, as Chris Jericho would put it, acting as if he's going to put his fists through the fucking glass of the door. And William Regal ain't even in there. And he's just standing there like, oh shit, he wasn't even in there. And they're standing there going, what the fuck? So Regal interrupts them, knocking on his door, and Gargano tries to talk his way out of the match with Bronson Reed. Regal says no, and to make matters worse, he tells Theory that he's got a match with Karrion Kross next week. So Karrion Kross and Austin Theory should be a good one, but I expect Austin Theory to lose with no problem. Next segment, we had Scott and his entourage are celebrating backstage when we return. He states, I told y'all, he and his crew leave the building to celebrate presumably the same VIP lounge as Grimes. Supposedly, that's what they were supposedly doing, but I doubt that was where they were going. They were probably going somewhere else. There's many other clubs to go to. And then this leads us to a video package of Saray and Zeta Raymer. They are actually supposed to fight next. Karrion Kross then had a segment where he discussed about his match that he had and winning the title and so forth. So he goes on to say, 3 weeks ago I made something crystal clear. All you had to do is step up and roll the dice. Instead, I was met with people saying they weren't afraid of me. Well, guess what? I ain't afraid of you either. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Let's give these people what they want. Let's give them a fight. I don't need to go back there and prove anybody wrong. You have to come out here and prove yourself right. I love it. That was a perfect way of putting it. And Karrion Kross, to me personally, I don't feel as if he's a heel. I feel like he's just this badass guy who doesn't have a heel or face run going for him right now. I wouldn't even say he's an in-betweener. He's just a guy you can either love him or hate him. It doesn't fucking matter. His attitude is he's going to do one thing and one thing only. Kick ass and retain his title each and every time. That's the way fucking characters need to be. This is the type of character I like. This is the type of character that could get over in a WWE main roster. We need guys that have attitude. We need, the Attitude Era wasn't all about doing all these crazy stunts and being so edgy and all that shit. All they had to be was just like this, or a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't have to go over the top crazy to get over. All he had to do was do things like what he did with Bret Hart. Things he did with The Rock. Things he did with fucking The Undertaker. And Mankind. And shit like that. He kicked ass. That's all we want. We want characters that kick ass. Not sit there and go, oh, please, be my buddy. Like a bunch of fucking dipshits. Weak-ass characters with no balls, no nothing. They look like they shouldn't even have testicles. Karrion Kross brings out the level of what a character needs to be to take the title off of Roman Reigns. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Everyone keeps saying, oh, Roman Reigns needs to remain champion for 1,000 days. Shatter the record of Brock Lesnar. Okay, yeah, I guess that would work. Throw Karrion Kross in there after he's had the title for 1,000 days. I think that would work out perfectly. Karrion Kross is definitely a guy I would love to see take the title off of Roman Reigns. Right now, no. Karrion Kross has got a long way to do that. If he goes ahead and he gets the same kind of reign that Roman Reigns got, then, and you decide at some point you want him to just go ahead and say, you know what, I've beaten everyone, I've done everything I can here, and you have him drop the title. He announces himself to go into the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, and face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I would love that. I would absolutely love it. I'd be okay with it. Karrion Kross would be the guy I would go with to take the title off of Roman Reigns. You could do that next year. You could do that after he breaks Brock Lesnar's streak. I don't give a shit. But Karrion Kross is the guy you want to use to take the title off of Roman Reigns. He's an ass kicker. He kicks ass. He rules. Yeah, he got dropped. I'm going to go into that real quick. He did get dropped, but that's only temporary. That is just a minor thing that ain't going to last very much longer. You give Roman Reigns that same exact situation where he's placed up against two guys beating the shit out of him at the same time, he's going to end up falling too. Don't give me that shit. Tell me, oh, Roman Reigns, he wouldn't have gotten his ass kicked by anyone. He would have ruled. I'm sick of the Roman Reigns agenda. Yes, folks, yeah, I admit it. I am a fan of Roman Reigns, but I do realize it's all part of the Roman Reigns agenda. Roman Reigns is set up to look really good while the rest of the entire fucking roster, including the women, look like shit to give him the idea to the fans that he is the absolute best. He's got charisma. He's got it. That is not correct. Because these creative people, being Vince McMahon, most importantly, and Bruce Pritchard, not opening up his big fat fucking mouth and wanting to push other stars and get them to the level of Roman Reigns, they are the two reasons why Raw and SmackDown both suck. And yeah, I've come on here and I've said SmackDown's been a decent show, and it has. But it's been because of Roman Reigns, and they have him in multiple segments. They don't have him in just one segment. They have him in the beginning and the end of the show. If you don't believe me, go back if you DVR'd these shows and watch it. You will see that Roman Reigns appears in the beginning and he appears at the end. And if he isn't appearing, somebody who he's rivaled up against is showing up, calling him out, and he's speaking to that person. It doesn't matter if he's wrestling or not. The man is always there providing segments after segment, whether it's backstage, in the ring, or just talking on the mic. It doesn't fucking matter. The man is in every segment looking good. And no reason at all why no one else can look just as good as Roman Reigns. It's creative, folks. It's fucking creative. Bottom line. So, where was I at? He stated that he was talking about how people need to prove themselves right. But he goes on to say, don't get it twisted. I'm not going to wait for somebody to stab me in the back. Next week, Austin Theory, I'm going to dive bomb you on your head. Okay, wow, that's some threatening words there. So Kyle O'Reilly interrupts, and he says, I get it, Cross. I get why you think everyone should be afraid. Sheer dominance, right? I'm sensing a little hostility. So let me just make this perfectly clear. I came out here to tell you to your face that I am not afraid of you. And with all due respect, you're NXT champion. So this is the match I want. Something tells me this is the match you want too. So let's give it to the NXT universe. Folks, I have to say one thing. Kyle O'Reilly looks absolutely fucking ridiculous. The man's coming out looking like a country boy with the fucking flannel jacket, button-down t-shirt. He's wearing an Eazy-E rapper t-shirt and wearing some ridiculous hat on his head. He looks like he could be on a fucking boat somewhere going fishing. The guy has a horrible looking attire and his pants is fucking ripped. You got Karrion Kross there in a fucking nice ass suit, but you got Kyle O'Reilly, the blue collar man, gonna challenge for the world heavyweight title. Folks, this man does not look believable at all to even coming close, sniffing a world championship reign. Not even close. Karrion Kross should creatively destroy Kyle O'Reilly in a wrestling match if they had a world title match. With no problem. Bottom line. Pete Dunne interrupts. Are you two having a laugh? I don't care who wants to see this match. I don't care about the new Kyle O'Reilly. And trust me, mate, I don't care that you stand there as NXT champion. Because the truth is, I'm the baddest man in NXT. Yeah, right. In your dreams. Sure. And see if either of you two think otherwise, then try to prove me wrong. I dare you. He throws down the microphone but guess what? Okay. Finn Balor interrupts next. Pete Dunne, been there, done that. Kyle O'Reilly, been there, done that twice. And Cross, once you're done with Theory, and this breaks out into everybody fighting in the ring, O'Reilly is jumped by security when he falls outside and Cross clears the ring on his own before one lone security person tries to have a word with him and takes a Suto suplex onto his head by Karrion Kross. Excellent fucking move. I love that move by Karrion Kross. Really good stuff. This all just broke down in an all-out brawl. We had fucking the North American champion, Johnny Gargano, and Austin Theory show up. They delivered some super kicks to Kross's face, but it took quite a few shots for them to bring him down. It also took them using the North American Championship to whack it over Kross's head. Personally, can you look at Kross as a babyface? You guys would probably be asking that possibly if you were standing in front of me right now. Is Cross a babyface? No, he doesn't have to be a fucking babyface. Like I just said, he can be whatever you want him to be. His attitude is real simple. I'm just gonna kick everyone's fucking ass. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you don't like me. That's the attitude I get from Karrion Kross. He's not a guy that is labeled babyface or bad guy or whatever fucking bull. He is an anti-hero. You can either love him or you can hate him. That's how I see him. That's how I like him. He looks fucking great. Now, the beating he took was a little bit questionable. I would admit that. I will admit that. I think it is questionable. I don't think you have him look like he's easy to beat up with two guys and a title. But let's be honest. The guy is a human being, not a fucking Superman, okay? So let's put some realism to it. If you got two guys attacking you, you got weapons being used on you, which is the title, being smacked over your skull, and then you got them kicking you in the fucking face multiple times, in the head, you're gonna start, getting what some people would call a concussion. So, I mean, just, a little bit of realism, if you want to be honest with yourself. Come on. So Scarlett gets back in the ring to check on Karrion Kross, and that was pretty much it. We go to break. Now, again, like I said, he shouldn't have taken any shots from these guys. I think the match should have the whole situation should have been real simple. He should have just tore them apart, and they shouldn't have been able to lay a lick on them when they got in. But it is what it is. I guess it's a way of firing up Karrion Kross. Hopefully we see him next week on NXT, kicking the shit out of Austin Theory. Austin Theory not getting one move put into this match, and Karrion Kross just wipes the floor clean with Austin Theory and puts him to shame. That I would be cool with. Zeta Ramir versus Saray. This was a good match too. This was awesome. Awesome shit. The ending of the match was Saray nailed a kick and a pair of German suplexes to get the pinfall. Personally, these women were killing each other. One drop kick by Saray, she hit Ramir in the fucking face off of a Irish whip to the ropes. She ran and kicked her right in the fucking mouth. Now, I don't know if that was an accident or that was meant to happen, but it looked like it fucking hurt. And I mean hurt bad. So, just my thoughts on that. I thought that was a very, very nice spot. Very realistic. And Ramir was very good in this match as well. Both of them. So I'm very happy to see the women's division continues to get new stars implemented into their roster, with old ones going off to doing the main roster stuff and eventually dying out there, like Rhea Ripley. Sorry, I had a cough. I apologize. Who actually sucks. Yeah. Alright, anyway, Walter is speaking to Imperium via Zoom conference call. It's hard to understand what he's saying, but it's clear that he's actually disappointed with his crew, and the promo for whatever the Diamond Mine is. We go to a commercial break. I don't know who the fuck Diamond Mine is, and to be perfectly honest with you, after 1 week of no explanation, you show a fucking promo video of that, making it look as if you're advertising for a new MMA gym in your local area, and then show the same thing again, but never showing any person there or saying who the fuck it is. What have you? Nothing explained here. Very bad, very bad. Not a good way to introduce a new group of characters or a character, whatever that may be. So I didn't particularly like that idea. I thought that was a poor choice of judgment to re-air the same fucking promo that you did last week. So I thought that was a really dumb idea because people thought this was a fucking local MMA gym in their area, which is what I thought when they first showed it last week. That was fucking nuts. Saray goes backstage to thank Ramir for a good match. Meanwhile, Toni Storm and Zoe Stark are getting in each other's faces until two referees come to break them apart. Stark goes to check on Ramir, and Saray gives her respect as well. Jake Atlas versus LA Knight. LA Knight. Oh, God, I can't believe they call him that. I wish he was going by his Impact Wrestling name, Eli Drake. That was a lot better than LA Knight. My God, what is he? Is he a name of a fucking team? I mean, he's got fucking Knight and LA. So what is he? The Los Angeles Knight? What the fuck? I mean, they should have really thought about this before giving him the fucking name. Unless he actually came up with it himself. And again, he should have thought about it himself before he thought of the name for his character. I don't know. I thought that was fucking ridiculous. LA Knight. What a fucked up name. Anyways, cutting a really good promo. Absolutely love LA Knight. Think he's awesome. Wish he was going by Eli Drake, but what are you gonna do? Match itself, LA Knight dominated the match and walked away victorious with no problem. He hit the BFT for the 1-2-3, and it was all over after that. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae are in the locker room. LeRae says they're going to become champions tonight. She tells Hartwell not to think about stupid boys, and stay focused on the fact that they have a title match that's coming up in the main event. They actually show Dexter Lumis standing by the door with a handful of flowers in his hand. And she closes the blinds so Indy Hartwell doesn't see that. This thing with Dexter Lumis is getting a little retarded. Really, he's all sidetracked with this bullshit. Let's get him focused back on the North American champion. The North American Championship, please. Pretty please, for the love of God. Get him on track. He doesn't need to be worrying about stupid girls, okay? As Candice LeRae put it, as him being a stupid boy. Alright? I don't even understand why they're calling him a boy. What are these people? Fucking high school kids? What the hell is this shit? I mean, yes, I will admit there are some things that are said on this show tonight that was just fucking retarded. Fucking retarded, man. Anyway, Toni Storm declares Zoe Stark the flavor of the month and says, "You don't deserve to be breathing the same damn oxygen as me. I am a global superstar, former and future women's champion. You're the future nobody that soon everyone is going to forget about. Zoe, I brought you into this business, and whenever I'm ready, so help me God, I will take you right back out of it." Big fucking whoop. Alright, Toni Storm and Zoe Stark, they continue to have their little bullshit storyline. I don't really care for this. This is beneath Toni Storm. I don't think Toni Storm is portraying a heel very well. I don't particularly care for Toni Storm as a heel. I like her as a face. She has the look of a woman who has the look of fighting off the odds. That's the way I see her as. That's the character I see in her. Same thing with Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano needs to get rid of this heel run. This heel run is going nowhere. It's low-grade bullshit, way beneath his capabilities of getting over with the crowd. Really, in my personal opinion, he sucks as a heel. Tommaso Ciampa is a way, way better heel than Johnny Gargano. And to be perfectly honest with you, I particularly prefer Tommaso Ciampa as a heel than a face because he has I can speak. He has more momentum when he plays a heel than he does as a face. That's the way I see it. Don't get me wrong, Tommaso Ciampa is not bad as a face. I just see him better as a heel. It's just the way I feel about it. You got more, a lot more entertainment value out of him when he plays a heel than he is a face, because you want to hate him. You get that, even though you like him as a person and as an in-ring performer, when he portrays a bad guy character, he does it to the max, and he does it very well. And it makes you legitimately want to hate him for what he's doing in the storylines, not him personally. So that's my opinions on that. Legado del Fantasma in the ring, and Santos Escobar has something to say. He states, "The measure of a man, you've heard me talk about blood, tradition, heritage, legacy. You've seen me become the NXT Cruiserweight Champion and undisputed emperor of Lucha Libre. Last week, you all witnessed a moment, an iconic moment, a premonition. I will recover what's rightfully mine, the NXT Cruiserweight Championship." His flunkies also note that they gave MSK a beating last week, and Raul Mendoza has a good laugh at this. Jaquan Wild, "We all know what needs to happen next." Mendoza speaks in Spanish and then says, "We want Legado del Fantasma versus NXT for the tag team titles." Escobar then states, "The measure of a man is not what he can do for himself, but what he can do for his brothers." Kushida interrupts on the video screen last week. "That was a mistake. Next week, me versus you, NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Let's do it." Escobar says, "You're on." And we got a Cruiserweight Championship match. Do I see Kushida losing the Cruiserweight Championship? More than likely, yeah. I honestly think they're going to strip him of the title and make him lose to Escobar. I don't particularly like Kushida the way he is. His character is just bland. I liked him in Ring of Honor. I liked him in New Japan Wrestling, but since he's came to NXT, he's fucked and just boring as fuck. His in-ring wrestling hasn't changed. That is great. That's the one thing that keeps him relevant in my mind. But otherwise, his character gimmick, it's a joke. He looks like a fucking jobber, man. So that's just my way of putting it. I mean, do I have anything really against it? I guess you could say I do, since I just said he looked like a fucking jobber. I like the fucking Back to the Future attire. I think that looks really cool on him, and it's based off of what he likes, what he enjoys, what he likes in pop culture, and he brings that to the wrestling ring. I like that. The Frankie Kazarian did the same thing. He named his move after the Flux Capacitor, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe he used the name the Flux Capacitor as a slice bread off the top rope. And then he also had a Metallica, I believe he did have a maneuver named after Metallica based off of one of his favorite bands, probably. So I like that. I think that's cool. And it shows some of what their interests are and what they enjoy in their own personal life. I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, we get Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez doing a backstage segment. Well, they're not really backstage talking to each other, but they're in split screen, while being asked about the matches. The match that they're going to have next week for the World Heavyweight Championship in the women's division. Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez both have something to say, and they keep interrupting each other on a split screen. Martinez says Gonzalez doesn't scare her at all. Gonzalez goes ahead and says, "When I look into your eyes, all I see is a woman who's going to get her ass kicked." Martinez also mentions a lot about how she had a scratch and claw, and she has paved the way for characters like Raquel Gonzalez. She's a very dominant, intimidating individual. She kicks ass, which she does, I will admit that. And she believes in her heart of hearts that she will dominate and take that title from Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez felt interrupted during this portion of this segment and states, "You better respect the champion," and Martinez didn't give a flying fuck. She took control of this entire promo mostly. Outside of the fact that Raquel Gonzalez got a few words in, Raquel Gonzalez looks weak as hell. I honestly do not give a flying fuck about Raquel Gonzalez being the women's champion. She is not a woman that is the next in line like a Shayna Baszler. I'm sorry. This heel run that she had going for until, for some whacked out reason, she's portraying a face. She was cool as the heel, but once she won the title, it seems like she's transitioned over to the face run, which I'm not particularly liking. I really don't fucking care for it. She's not a woman that needs to be a face. Mercedes Martinez looked great in this promo. And you may be going, what do you mean she looked great? She sounded like a legit champion. She sounded like a UFC fighter ready to go into battle and kick some fucking ass. Raquel Gonzalez, on the other hand, seemed like a generic retard reading off a script. She did not seem like, to me, a legit champion, like a real champion. She took that promo and got her ass kicked. Mercedes Martinez dominated that fucking promo. And to be perfectly honest with you, I would be perfectly fine with Mercedes Martinez taking the title from Raquel Gonzalez, because to me, she's not cutting the mustard right now. I don't understand why, but all of a sudden, since she won the fucking title, she has turned into crap. And that is weird, because the fact of the matter is, usually when you win a championship, you're getting over and you're gaining momentum. In my personal opinion, she's kind of done the Rhea Ripley route, except Rhea Ripley lost the fucking title to Charlotte, of all fucking people, which I can't believe they did that last year. Still can't get over it. Match was fucking great. We don't see that kind of Charlotte at all. She just drags everybody down and demanding more and more title shots after title shot. Making her probably the most, granting her the most title wins in history of wrestling, which doesn't really fucking matter. It's stupid. If you're not having title defenses, you're just a paper champion who can gain the title but can't retain and keep the title for a long period of time. So that's just the way I look at it. If you look at it differently, I don't know what to tell you. I think there's something wrong with you. But Mercedes Martinez honestly looks like a legit badass. She looks like a person that should win the women's championship next week. That's who I would go with for that match. Bottom line. She's a woman that you could line up a bunch of faces and actually have a match with. She would definitely work out. And she reminds me a lot of Shayna Baszler in the sense. And she has that look to her, don't fuck with me. There was a segment backstage with Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon before their tag team title match. It was mentioned, not mentioned, but Frankie Monet's dog appeared in their little tank that they come out with during their entrances. And the dog shit in their fucking tank. And they said it was the hugest turd they ever seen come out of a small dog like that. And I'm saying to myself, what the fuck? dog shits in their tank? Okay, whatever. We got Frankie Monet having the dog crap in their tank. She's aggravating with them. Alright, cool. Whatever. Frankie Monet needs to take a hike and go ahead and go back to Impact Wrestling, because that woman doesn't belong in NXT. She's not getting over in my mind or in my book. And I just think it was absolute trash. And what we saw here with her, she has not done nothing. She hasn't performed or wrestled or done anything. After that segment, though, guys, we had the NXT Women's Tag Team title match, which I'm not going to go over again. I stated earlier in the video that they put the tag team titles on the line, and there was a lot of good spots here. Ladders being used, tables being used, chairs were used, all kinds of different spots. Really good stuff. If you haven't seen this episode, that is one match I highly recommend going and seeing right away. It was probably one of the best matches on the card outside of the other tag team match with the men, Timothy Thatcher, Tommaso Ciampa, and the Grizzled Young Veterans. Other than that, this was an excellent main event. Fun stuff, back and forth. Again, like I said, TakeOver should have this tag team title match with the tag team titles on the line in a ladder match or a TLC, whichever you guys prefer. I really don't care which, to be quite frank with you. And them just ending this rivalry. To be quite frank with you as well, the tag team titles in any division, men or female, is absolute trash. Tag team wrestling in WWE is crap. Bottom line. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. It was fun for what it was. I'm tired as fuck, so I'm going to be chilling out for a little while, and then I'm heading to bed and get ready for work tomorrow. So if you liked this video and you enjoyed what I had to say here, hit the like button if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.